The breeze shifted direction, whipping across the football field. Then she saw them. 4 adolescent boys. Scavengers out early to sift through rubbish. 2 of them were pushing a cart packed with plastic bottles and crushed cans. Another, with slouched shoulders and buckled knees, tagged along behind, carrying a grimy sack containing something of great weight. The 4th, clearly their leader, was walking ahead with a distinctive swagger, his bony chest puffed out like a cockerel in a fight. They were making their way towards her, joking among themselves. "Keep walking." They stopped by a waste container across the street and started rummaging through it. Shampoo bottles, juice cartons, yogurt tubs, egg boxes, each treasure was plucked and piled onto the cart. Their movements were deft, expert. One of them found an old leather hat. Laughing, he put it on and walked with an exaggerated, uppity strut, hands tucked into his back pockets, mimicking some gangster he must have seen in a film. Instantly, the leader snatched the hat away and placed it on his own head. Nobody objected. Having picked the rubbish clean, they were ready to go. To Layla's dismay, they seemed to be turning back, headed in the opposite direction. "Hey, I'm over here." Slowly, as though he had heard Layla's plea, the leader lifted his chin and squinted into the rising sun. Under the shifting light, he scanned the horizon, his gaze wandering until he caught sight of her. His eyebrows shot up, his lips trembling slightly. "Please, don't run away." He didn't. Instead he said something inaudible to the others, and now they too were staring at her with the same stunned expression. She realized how young they were. They were still children, mere striplings, these boys pretending to be men. The leader took the smallest step forward. And another. He walked towards her the way a mouse approached a fallen apple, timid and uneasy, but equally determined and fast. His face darkened as he drew closer and saw the state she was in. "Don't be afraid." He was by her side now, so close she could see the whites of his eyes, bloodshot and flecked with yellow. She could tell he had been sniffing glue, this boy who was no older than 15, whom Istanbul would pretend to welcome and accommodate, and, when he least expected it, throw aside like an old rag doll. "Call the police, son. Call the police so they can inform my friends." He glanced left and right, making sure there was no one watching, no surveillance cameras nearby. Lurching forward, he reached for Layla's necklace, a golden locket with a tiny emerald in the center. Gingerly, as if afraid it might explode in the palm of his hand, he touched the pendant, feeling the comforting chill of the metal. He opened the locket. There was a photo inside. He took out the photo and inspected it for a moment. He recognized the woman, a younger version of her, and a man with green eyes, a gentle smile and long hair, combed in a style from another era. They seemed happy together, in love. On the back of the photo there was an inscription, D. Ali and I, Spring 1976. Swiftly, the leader yanked off the pendant and stuffed his prize into his pocket. If the others, standing quietly behind him, were aware of what he had just done, they chose to ignore it. They might be young, but they had enough experience in this city to know when to act smart and when to play dumb. Only one of them took a step forward and dared to ask, his voice merely a whisper, Is she alive?" "Don't be ridiculous," said the leader. "She's as dead as a cooked duck." "Poor woman. Who is she?" Cocking his head to the side, the leader studied Layla, as though noticing her for the first time. He looked her up and down, a smile spreading on his face like ink spilled across a page. "Can't you see, you moron? She's a whore." "You think so?" the other boy asked with earnestness, too shy, too innocent to repeat the word. "I know so, idiot." The leader now turned halfway towards the group, and said, loudly and emphatically, "It'll be all over the papers. And TV channels. We're going to be famous. When journalists get here, let me do the talking, okay?" In the distance a car revved its engine and roared up the road towards the motorway, skidding as it turned. The smell of exhaust mingled with the sting of salt in the wind. Even at so early an hour, sunlight just beginning to brush the minarets, the rooftops and the uppermost branches of the Judas trees, people were already rushing in this city, already late for somewhere else.